And
What?
that is how yesterday I saw the joy is a deep seated contentment emanating from our soul and has nothing to do with the outer world. It has nothing to do with it. So, when the mind is settled in that understanding, even if you have a pain in the body, it's okay. Yeah, that is what body is meant to. You have pain, you have pleasure, but that inner contentment continues.
Hmm.
So you also wrote it. We are moving to that level. It is the mind tries to deceive, the intellect will be our tool to explore and investigate our mental state. Beautifully said, that gives you the understanding. And find our true nature by removing all the impurities that leads to suffering and delusion. So that is where the you rightly said that is where the liberate principle comes that we discussed. So modern science, I discussed that the joy is a temporary, triggered by the external stimuli. But the Eastern wisdom says no, it is always there inside you. It is covered, it is veiled by the impure mind because I am seeking something outside. And yesterday in our session, we discussed about identification and identification. You always remember that if the moment you have an anxiety, duality, and a conflict, so I have to explore through the intellect. Is there
Hmm.
any identification? Is there any attachment? Any emotional dependence? Any emotional after emotional dependence we have a delusion, and that delusion lives in ignorance, and ignorance causes man, I'm upset, I have anxiety, I have fears, I have duality, I have conflict. But I don't see what is happening in the background. Behind the mind, deep inside, a lot of things are happening. And that happening has to be arrested, understood, analyzed by the intellect, and you have you get rid of it. But yes, that is that has to be supported by a regular practice. Now it is a matter of few weeks and a month when you are able to maintain a status quo. Status quo means that in spite of any changes happening outside, you are able to maintain your poise and calm. I want to share that this guy who is in his 34, 35 is a millionaire. So he has been attending my sessions. He wanted that, I want to discover myself. So you see how it happens, how the mind strikes the wisdom that you have studied. So
Hmm.
he went to dine in a restaurant, and on the on the another table there were four or five beautiful girls. So his mind, he is quite young, so his mind got absorbed into the sensuality. He did not talk to anyone. And the whole time of an hour he spent while dining and eating food, he was totally immersed with those sensual thoughts and feelings about those girls. Now, the moment he came out of the restaurant, his mind reminded him something. He went inside his car and he called me. He said, I am cursing my mind. Why the mind you went outside? I said, continue cursing your mind. You're doing the right thing. Not many people are aware of this fact. They say, oh, what is this? Oh, this is natural. No, this is not natural. You went there to dine, and your mind is jumping to something else. It is not. It is not good. Oh, that is what you taught me, and that is no, I'm cursing my mind. How dare you did it? And I said, it is happening because of the past impressions, because you have accumulated lot of impressions. So recently, for the last almost a year, he has stopped going to his friends for a because they are going for a beer drink in the weekend. He said, "No, I'm not going there. I'm sitting in my home." Even his dad invites him. He says, "No, I'm not drinking." He has left the drinking. Almost it has been a year, and he has improved a lot. So gradually we become aware of it. It is not that, so it is the intellect, the liberate principle is going to break this vicious circle and uh, vicious cycle. That is very important. And once that is done, I gave an example. He came out of it and he started cursing. Not many people do it at this young age. Not many people do it. I said, "You are doing good." So he was asking, "Am I doing good?" I said, "Yes." Because you are hitting your mind that fell into delusion. No, but why didn't I remember when I was sitting inside the restaurant? I said, that is how we make the progress. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So sometimes it does not happen to me also. And then he calmed down and he went to his home, he did the practice, he started contemplating and reflecting, and then he had the next session with me after 2 days, and he said, now I can see that if I could have allowed those impressions in my mind, it should have disturbed me for a couple of days. And because of the intellect, I contemplated, reflected, and it changed my perception completely. I said, this is, to believe the journey of the Eastern wisdom is very challenging because the mind goes outside and mind puts the logic. What logic it puts? Because of the past impressions. Oh, what will happen? Let me take one bag of vodka. One bag of vodka becomes 5 pack. So then, that is what we started talking about it, identification. Let us go a little deeper. So it is associating the self with the external elements like the body or ego, forgetting the true self. What you said, I'm starting from there. So, association, through the association, attachment, desire, delusion, foolishness, ignorance, and suffering, that vicious circle begins, and I told you, simple, this young guy told me that you told me, I still remember. Mind is the worst master and a faithful servant. Only the intellect can make the mind a faithful servant. If the mind is the worst master, it will create problem every day. For example, you have an anxiety yesterday and you wake up in the morning today, the mind will say, oh, today you don't have an anxiety. And you told me a couple of times, doctor said that, I have a chronic anxiety. Because the mind reminds you. Mind is the worst master. Think, I'm not saying that you have to follow. You have to intellectually understand. So through association, attachment, so what is the role the intellect plays? The intellect plays the role, we say, the discernment. I'm separating. Why I'm separating my association with something outside? Because it cannot be associated. Association is through the mind, through the thought, through the thought. Oh, this is a man whose name is Philippe, and so Philippe is my son. You see the association. So now here is a man, he is Stephen. It doesn't trigger any emotion because, yeah, Stephen is a man, it's okay, but what I have to do with it? See, you see the practical. Ah, so now, no, oh, Anne is there. Oh, let me talk to Anne. Even my mind, goes, oh, yeah. Oh, let me talk, I should not miss her call, you see. Association. So this association is good as long as it does not trigger any attachment. Yeah, yeah, it should trigger a positive emotion. If I receive a call from Anne, no, yes, I should receive it. A call from the Philip, but minus attachment. With the Philip, minus attachment. With the Jack, minus attachment. That is what the intellect is saying, and this is the power of discernment. And if we live in the power of discernment, where is the anxiety? Where is the duality? Where is the fear? Where is the fear? But then we are asking that, I feel very calm. From where this calmness comes? You rightly said, it comes from the deep inside the soul. Whether you say soul or consciousness, it does not make a difference to the Eastern wisdom. Eastern wisdom is not very interested in talking about the soul. It says pure consciousness is enough. We have to, you have lots of time, you just, whenever you have a free time, you just say, okay, let me find out. Association, attachment. So if I'm associated, what thought comes to my mind? And does this thought has an emotional element? Oh, it will lead to the emotional attachment. What can I do? Even if I'm emotionally attached. You just said, I will go and see the news. Fire in California. Yes, it is concerning, but what can I do except being concerned? But if being concerned converts into an emotional attachment, that is a problem. That is not being a human being. This is what our masters are saying. So you leave the mind free. You don't make the mind the worst master. Mind always plays the role of a worst master. My master used to say, and the same mind works as a most faithful servant. How it becomes a servant? By discernment, by knowledge. In ignorance, it says that now I will take you. So we will go a little deeper into 4 levels of identification that we covered last time. 4 levels of body identification. At the basic level, individuals often identify with their physical body. This identification includes viewing the body as the primary self. I claim the body is myself, attributing identity to physical appearance, health, and abilities. I'm beyond that. Beyond that. Now I'm 66. I could not have those abilities when I was 20. Should I appreciate? Only the intellect can appreciate. Mind is not going to appreciate it. So, okay, now I belong to this age group. The age of the body is this, so I should do these things in a balanced way, not rushing. There is a couple of research studies done recently. I read it, I think 3 months ago, that people who are in their 60s and 70s, and here I see them, they are running and jogging in such a extreme heat,
Oh
they are
gosh.
sweating, they develop lot of problems pertaining to their heart, their anxiety. So that identification should not be there. But I should care my body. That is okay. But if I start at a person constantly worries about aging process, appearance or physical fitness, believing that my worth is directly tied to my bodily condition. No, my worth is different than the body. Body is constantly changing. So we are discerning, we are trying to understand. They may engage in extreme diet. You know, I have seen a lot of people, they are engaged in extreme diet and exercise regimes to maintain a certain look. Yeah, we should maintain the look, you know, okay. But check, is the mind becoming a master or the intellect is taking care of it? Body identification is that is the beginning. My master used to give an example. Imagine a turtle whose shell becomes so integral to its identity that it forgets the turtle inside. The turtle perceives only the shell as its true self and is killed. Masters have their own perception and they look at different. So now we have to understand that if I'm deeply identified with the physical body, what are the impact in over my daily life? First is the anxiety and insecurity. I don't know whether I'm deeply identified with the body or not for so many years. When you study the Eastern wisdom, you start understanding these four levels of identification, and then you have to contemplate and reflect. Are there events in the past where you have a very deep identification with the body? That is one reason modern science doesn't look that way. Modern science doesn't look from that perspective. We are looking from the perspective, is the mind becoming a worst master or you are a servant? So body identification, the first problem that we normally get, oh, why didn't you tell me? Your mind may say that, why didn't you tell me before? Mind has to be ready. You have to be a seeker. That's why I did not tell you. Because we wait. So, first impact is anxiety and a feeling of insecurity. You think of it, contemplate, and reflect. And when you reflect, then find out a couple of events that took place in your childhood or in your young age where you have uh, internally, subconscious level of identification with the body. There is another religious, all this religion cult, they make us crazy. There is a fear of mortality. That also causes lot of problem. And then the third one, which is absent in your life, is the superficial relationship. because we value the physical attributes over inner qualities of a people living near and dear to us. That also causes sometimes this negative impact in our life. So simple, it is not the mind says I am the body, but you feel while thinking, speaking, and acting, and eating, and doing everything. You have to recognize and contemplate and reflect. That belief is ingrained inside I am the body. Impact, obsession with the looks and fear of aging or the health or the anxiety. That is very, very serious consequences. You already know Boris, so once I shaved my head and the beard, and he went to English Town to attend my session, and he was so happy because he also did not have beard, and he said, "Wait for me." So after half an hour, he bought a $60 professional professional hair trimmer. I still own it. I said, "I love you. You always live like this."
Oh,
You see the identification? So I caught his
yeah.
identification. I said, "Okay, I will do that." But then there was another woman, Masha. She has been attending my sessions regularly, and she whispered in my ear, "You look so ugly. Keep your beard." And I said, "Very good." I said, "I will do it." I will do it. So you see the identification.
I,
So that causes, because people have responded to your look.
yeah, and we respond to our look. Say,
We
okay,
respond
it doesn't
to.
look good. I do this,
And this
and
time when I was in New Jersey, he didn't say anything. But I'm keeping that trimmer. It's a very heavy trimmer. I did it for a month, and I said, "No, this is a gift. I should keep it."
oh,
Or I may give to someone. So that is the first identification. The second identification with our sense organs.
oh,
This level involves attaching ourself to the sensory experience. Our sensi means sensory experiences and perception. Perception of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and feeling. So I define myself by their possessions. I am my car. I am my smartphone.
okay.
In the last group session, I was asking that, can you tell me any difference between the working of an iPhone or Android phone? But our mind has an obsession created by the society, so everyone wants to possess the iPhone, which I realized when I came to United States, and that is why I said I will not do it. I will always keep an Android phone. Can you
You'll
tell me
keep
that?
what? I'm sorry, you will keep what?
I always keep Android phone, not an iPhone.
Oh,
I said, can you tell me what 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 anything special that it has in your life or personality keeping the iPhone? The moment you see the iPhone, the moment someone calls you in the mall, and everyone looks at, oh, this is an iPhone. So it means I am my iPhone. That is sensory identification. That
Right.
is a sensory identification. And when you identify with any of these sense organs of hearing, tasting, smelling, and feeling, it is going to create a lot of challenges in our life. So it does not mean that I should not keep it. Yes, buy an iPhone, but don't get associated. That is what we are talking. We are not saying don't enjoy that. Enjoy that, but check. You are not associating. You are not identifying with it. Every time someone calls you and you also look outside, oh, everyone is looking that I have an iPhone. That is a problem. That is an association. Mind is becoming a worse master. It will cause lot of challenges. Why? Your iPhone breaks down and then your heart also breaks down. So, so there is a momentary happiness. This is what you have written. I'm coming to that. Because of sensory gratification, sensory association, I have a momentary pleasure. I talked about it and I saw, oh, Anne is looking at me, very good. So I'm not paying attention to what I'm talking. I'm paying more attention to, oh, you are looking at my iPhone. It becomes subconscious habit. So
Yeah.
reliance on sensory pleasure leads to fleeting moments of joy followed by dissatisfaction. After that, it always gives you a dissatisfaction. You like the food that you take, the moment it goes below your neck, everything is gone. No taste. Your stomach does not say, I still feel it is very tasty. No, if you say it, you are dreaming, and that is an association, that is an addiction, that is a dependence, that is a distraction for the inner growth. This is how the master explains. Just see, anything. It does not mean that we should not keep it, but mind is not the master at all. Mind is not the worst master. So, how the mind should not become the master? The intellect. My utility, my application, my understanding should rule to get rid of the identification with the sense organs, attachment to the sensory pleasures, believing I am what I experience. That is the biggest problem. What is our principle? I am what I experience. So when you are driving your car and you feel the highway is running behind you, that is what you are, that is what is your experience. You see the mirage water, that is what you are. Sensory experience. You see the blueness of the sky is not blue. I am what I experience. People normally say it. They are obsessed with their sensory experiences. And it results into addiction, overindulgence, dependence on the sensory stimulation for happiness. Lot of challenges you have. Third level of identification is the mental identification. Individuals identify. I identify with my thought, belief, and emotion. I think I've spoken a lot of times. If people ask me, "Do you believe in God?" I said, "What is your stand?" Now I believe in God. I say, "I also believe in God." I end the conversation there. Why I should unnecessarily enter into it?
Yeah. But That's all right. It depends on your definition. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think
on your. So there are a lot of things.
with consciousness, you would accept
Yeah,
that Eastern wisdom.
whatever, whatever intellect, here we say that let us understand I believe in God and I don't believe in God from the point of view of discernment, which is a power of intellect.
Yeah.
Now, see, I bought a Lincoln car, I drive it daily, I enjoy, I experience. Now, if you ask me what is your experience, I can tell you. But if I have not driven it, how can I tell what is my experience? So people ask a question which has no meaning at all. Do you believe in God? Counter question is, have you ever experienced the God? You have experienced it, you have discovered it, you have studied it, you have reflected on it. Then you can ask me the question, do you believe in God? That will make a sense. Just out of the blue, I don't believe in God. Don't believe in God. I believe in God. Yes, believe in God. I don't want to enter into any kind of unnecessary discussion. But there is a sense of identification.
Yeah.
Identification that I am a theist, I am an atheist. It has become a fashion in the modern world. I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I don't see any difference between your behavior and attitude. Mental identification. Mental identification. I am, so the same thing, I'm frustrated, I'm a failure based on my past mistake. I enter into the guilt based on my past event. All those things is a mental association. What happens? I'm just giving you a reflection, you have to think of it. Envision a sea where every wave is mistaken for the ocean itself. It is a mental association. The turbulence of the waves represents the thought and emotions. It obscures the calm and the vast ocean beneath. So, what happens? What are the impacts in our life? Emotional volatility. Emotionally, we are fickle minded. Your next door neighbor. Next door neighbor. Do you remember? Your next
Yeah.
door
Oh,
neighbor.
yeah.
Emotional volatility. So
Oh, yeah.
now you see that from intellect you understand it's an emotional volatility. So you deal with her with a smile. It doesn't make any difference to you. She is
That's true.
volatile. Very good. Thank you. I will come next time and I'll talk to you. You don't get upset.
Yeah.
And it leads to mental confusion. Lot of mental confusion. That also is her characteristics. And there you become so limited. You have a very limited perspective. You see all the three factors aligns with her. Very limited perspective. What is the meaning of this? The mind has become the worst master. How? I don't inquire. What I don't inquire, that I am my thoughts, I am my emotions, I am my personality, I am my behavior, I am my attitude. You don't say it, but internally your mind is already obsessed with it. That's why you say, no, no, what I'm saying is right. Next door neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
That is a serious problem because it is expressed in your personality, in your behavior, in your attitude. People identify with their mental states, moods, and memories. How? When you say, I am my thoughts, I'm my emotions, I'm my personality, I'm my behavior. That is how they but problem is that this is so deeper a problem. They don't recognize. You sit down and you tell them that why you are recognizing. They will fire back at you. So there is an emotional instability, there is an overthinking, there is a deep attachment in these cases. Emotional instability, overthinking, and attachment to the past or the future event. It is like, I would say, it is being stuck in a movie, forgetting you are the observer, not the character on the screen. You get stuck in a movie of your life. And this leads to extreme anxiety, depression, and sometimes the split personality. Fourth level of identification is our ego identification. What is ego identification? Simple. I thought. From where the I thought comes? From the intellect. From the intellect comes the I thought. Identification with the ego involves attaching to a constructed sense of myself, status, achievement, and a personal narratives. Ego driven identity often masks the true self. It's very subtle, it's very deep, it veils the real self. The ego identification. A For example, our dear Elon Musk derives, he is a professional, so he is deriving his entire identity from his job and the achievement. Come on, I'm the CEO of X, $400 billion. So, Trump, you have to listen to me. You see, continue to see what is going to happen.
Oh,
I read
yes.
the news yesterday that Trump is getting tired of Musk.
They say that.
Uh, so this is what the ego identification is. What is the impact, the suffering from the status and comparisons? Status. Suffer. Who is this? Girish? Oh, I don't know you. Get lost. But I have that level of identification. Oh, if you reach 1 billion, then I can give you some time. Suffering from the status and comparison, and you are always vulnerable. You are always open to the pain and the problem and the reaction because you are protecting the ego. It leads to the emotional suppression. You may think those people are looking very happy outside. No, they are very sad and frustrated inside. They are extremely attached to their success and failure, extremely, deeply, obsessively. Why? Because they have to show to the society that I always succeed. Ego identification, pride, arrogance, fear of failure, loss of status, persistent anxiety and the stress, but because of the ego, they are able to control it, to show to the society and people and the relations. They always have a fear and the anxiety. fear and the insecurity. When you identify, they may not look like that, but internally they have it. Emotional turbulence, lack of authenticity, suffering and dissatisfaction,
Mhm.
insecurity about appearance, of health, body, body identification, dependence on fleeting pleasure, the sense identification, mind identification, emotional instability, and attachment to status and possession. And what is the cumulative effect? Mind becomes the worst master.
Mm.
If we have little or in different proportion all the four, mind becomes the worst master. And we know what the worst master does. What what it does in our daily life. The whole day passes with that sense of anxiety, frustration, fear. Even you have everything. You are able to meet your physical needs. You have no one to disturb you. Mind says, I'm lonely. Because I want to identify.